Hello, Eastside Youth. This is your midweek encouragement. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had fun celebrating Independence Day. This last Sunday, we missed you at youth group, but for those of you who were able to make it to our Independence Day gathering out in Scio, we had a blast. It was a great time, and so that hopefully will be one that we can do again next year. We're going to jump right in. We're going to continue on in the book of Proverbs. We're going to be in chapter 3 and verses 1 through 4. And in this, so pretty much Proverbs chapter 1 through 9 are this person, this father figure, this teacher, trying to get us, the audience of Proverbs and the original audience, and this young person who is learning from them to buy into the need for wisdom. And so really, chapter 3 is continuing this charge that wisdom is of great value, which we've talked about, but they're going to highlight some new things about wisdom, some of the benefits, specifics about wisdom. The other thing I want to remind you is that Proverbs is wisdom literature, meaning that not all of these things are outright promises. These are general truths that will be generally true as a person pursues these things, but they're wisdom literature. And so a person may pursue them and find difficulty at times, but they will ultimately be fulfilled in the coming kingdom. So, Proverbs chapter 3, starting in verse 1, it says, "My son, do not forget my teaching, but let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and years of life and peace they will add to you. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. So you will find favor and good success in the eyes of God and man." So there is another invitation. This teacher invites us again not to forget the teaching, not to forget this wisdom. And we're 3 chapters in, and this is something that has been said multiple times. Don't forget the instruction. Don't forsake the father's instruction and mother's teaching. Don't forsake. And it's this, to me, it's this reminder that we need reminders. Like, when we get wisdom, it doesn't just come like that it instantly comes natural for us to automatically always pursue the wise thing. We need constant reminders, and this is part of why we practice our faith. But we need reminders to practice that wisdom and to choose that wisdom and further pursue that wisdom on a daily basis. And so here he's reminding us, don't forget it. Remember to keep it. It's important. And then he notes a benefit. He says, "For length of days and years of life, and peace they will add to you." And I would argue this, that length of days and years of your life, those are good. Like keeping the commands of the Lord, it says, generally will allow a person, hopefully to stay safe in the promises of God. And I say generally, because remember, this is wisdom literature. But I would argue of higher value than those long life that it could add to you is the peace that it adds. Because I would say that if you have a long life, let's say you live to be 90 years old and you're blessed to live to 90, but that life is not filled with peace, it's not as good. It's maybe less desirable. And so I would argue that the peace is the crux of what the wisdom of God brings to our lives and causes us to have this experience of lengthened days. And then he says that the teacher calls for us to not let steadfast love or faithfulness forsake us. And he challenges us to bind them around our neck and write them on the tablets of our heart. And so this verse, Proverbs 3:3, if you I've said this in youth group a few times, but if you want to underline one, this is a good one, because this is Proverbs jumping back into the Old Testament, which we're already in the Old Testament Proverbs, but farther back into the Torah, grabbing a piece of the Torah and pulling it over and using it in the book of Proverbs. And this is kind of a smashing together of 2 key passages in Jewish faith and in the Old Testament, which are Exodus 34, verse 6. Exodus 34, verse 6 is where God on Mount Sinai reveals to Moses and tells Moses his character, talks about who he is. So this is God speaking about himself. Exodus 34, verse 6. The Lord passed before him, that's Moses, and proclaimed, the Lord, a merciful God and gracious, slow to anger. And then here's where our verse in Proverbs comes in. And abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. So this thing that this teacher in Proverbs wants us to embody and make a part of our lives is wrapped up in the very character of God, steadfast love and faithfulness. And it's also so don't let those forsake you. Don't let those be far away from you, is the idea. But then he says, bind them around your neck and write them on the tablets of your heart. And this is less directly so, but this is kind of a calling back to the Shema, the Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. Write them on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your home, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise. You shall bind them. Notice the same language, bind them around your neck. Here it says, you will bind them on the frontlets between your eyes, and or on your hand, and they shall be frontlets between your eyes. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. So they're taking these two ideas, the character of God and the call for the people of God to respond to who God is, and they're putting those two ideas together in one verse in the book of Proverbs and saying to pursue the wisdom of God is to not let the steadfast love and faithfulness, who God is, be far from us. And it says to bind them on your neck and write them on the tablets of your heart. The idea is that you take them with you where you go. And it's further this idea that we take the wisdom of God with us into every situation. We don't check it at the door. If we are impacted by Jesus in the Christian faith, and we want to pursue Christ, and we're growing in the wisdom of God, we take that wisdom with us into every situation. We bind it around our neck. We wear it. We write it on our hearts so it's inseparable to us. And the way that we do that is by not forgetting it, to pursue it and not let it get far from us. And then he says that you don't just do this as some sort of like practice, it's making it an ever-present part of your life. And in doing so, you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man. I think a lot of times when we think of finding favor before God, we think of that as being in contention with finding favor with men or the other people in our lives. And Proverbs says, generally speaking, when we do this, it is possible to find favor with both God and man. And Luke uses this he kind of takes this verse in verse 4 and he uses it about Jesus. He grew in wisdom and stature before God and man. And so we can see how both Christ is this example later on of what it means to take the wisdom of God with us everywhere we go, and in a way that causes us to not just grow in favor with God, that is chief, but grow in favor with the people around us, using the wisdom of God to better interact with the people that we interact with on a daily basis. And so that is going to be our midweek encouragement for the week. We have regular youth group this Sunday. It's been like a month or more since we've had regular youth group, so I hope you guys can join us here at 4 on Sunday, and it's going to be a good time. I hope you guys are staying cool as best you can, staying safe. We will see you guys soon. Love you. Take care.